Dhanyavad Prabhu. Can't hear me. He says he can't hear me. Haribol, can you hear? We can't hear you.
Oh, look who it is.
I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay,
Dhanavad Maharaj.
okay, Dhanyavad. We talked to Kushum yesterday.
Okay.
She said you've been coming to help her.
Yes, she needs some help to go to the doctor, an appointment.
That was nice.
Yeah, she told me that the taxi was charging like more than $50 just to one way.
Yeah.
So
So she still has this dizziness. They
yes,
heard. She told you what they want to do to her.
uh,
They're going to put
they
her
have
in the.
some therapy. They say that they will fix the
Uh,
problem, but it's kind of weird. What she was telling me,
I know.
like
I thought it was weird too.
it's not
They're,
like a regular therapy or medication. It's just to move the head and something like that. I don't know.
I think it's going to be worse. Make her situation worse. They don't even know what it is, and they want to do that.
Sometimes the doctor try to do experiments with the people, the patient, and
Uh,
trying different things and see which one work. But I don't know. How are you, Maharaj?
I'm okay. I'm all right. Not as healthy as I'd like to be, but anyhow,
Are you going to take the vaccine, the coronavirus?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
I because I heard they have some things in there that I'm allergic to,
All right.
so I don't want to take a chance.
Yeah, I understand.
You're going to get it?
Well, I tried to apply, but it's difficult to get the appointment. My wife already have it on Thursday, and my son also had it because they are teachers, so they have priority for the teachers and
Oh, okay.
doctors. But I was listening to the radio that they say that people have an appointment when they go there. They say the vaccine is done; they don't have any more, so I have to make another appointment. So they have some problem with the distribution of the vaccine. So I will wait a little more.
Did Try Mars get the vaccine?
I don't think so.
No. I saw Acharya Maharaj walking around without a mask around a lot of people.
Okay.
I thought maybe he got the vaccine or
That,
something.
yeah, but still with the vaccine, people can get it, but maybe the symptoms are not so bad, but they can transmit it to somebody else.
Mhm.
I'm not sure exactly. They don't know exactly how they will work the vaccine. If they give you immunity for only for a few months or for longer, they don't know. And some vaccine needed two doses, so the first one is not enough. So you still keeping the old office, or they are going to move soon?
No, we're moving this month. At the end of this month, we're
Okay.
going to move to a smaller office, and this way we can keep our stuff there and not have to pay a lot of money.
Oh,
And let's see, If we want to have a meeting again, a small number of people, there should be enough room. I don't even know if Kusham will be able to come again.
I really not sure because she get dizzy the other day when she was going out of the car to go to her apartment. She stand a little and then got dizzy, had to sit down again. So sometimes when the car moves, she feel dizzy a lot. So I'm not sure she can travel like 2 3 hours in the car. I mean, you have to wait a little longer. I don't think she will be able to do it. I mean,
She's
sitting in the car is okay, but the dizziness is something
uh,
else.
she said her Tulsi died because
Yeah.
she wasn't able to take care of it. No, she's not staying with her sister, or sister not staying with her.
Well, the sister, I see that she stayed a few times in the week. I think they have two different sisters, but sometimes they have a personal things to do, and probably it's not every day, like. But the one day I went there, the sister was cooking for her. So I said that they once in a while they come and help some way. But when she walk with the head is straight, looking at the front because she says she look at the bottom or look at the side, the head start to spin, and she feels so dizzy that you have to go all the time like a robot, like you're doing like this.
Uh,
So I I'm not sure it will improve that because that's a little complicated that part. I don't know if side effects of medication or side effects of the surgery.
yeah,
I'm not sure.
we don't know. That's why before they do anything, they should try to find out what's causing it.
Yeah,
Uh, doctors are very limited.
yes. And sometimes they don't know what to do. I mean, they
No,
just
no,
try one thing and see works or not. But
why does
it's
it
like a
keep
try
doing?
and see.
Yeah, Therese, Haribo.
Haribol,
Arriba,
how are
tante
you today? Good to see you. Did you have a good week?
Oh, it's wonderful.
The sun came out today
Yes, we're
after lots of
getting some.
rain.
Yes, we're getting hit by the polar vortex. Oh,
Ah,
you heard about that? The North Pole. There's a vortex around the North Pole,
okay.
and depending on the movements of the air and the heat of the ocean, it sometimes
Ah,
moves.
okay.
So unfortunately, it's moving down further south, and it's coming into the U.S. and to this part of the country, the northeastern section. It's going to make it colder than usual.
Yeah.
Winter, winter.
Well, yeah, it is winter, right? It is winter. Well, it's a nice day today. Enjoy it while we can, right?
The other parts of the country have experienced a lot worse than we are, I guess, with the drought, fires, and in the south, the hurricanes. Somehow we managed to escape those things.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess a little cold isn't so bad.
Not so bad. I hear static. Is there stat? Do you hear static on you?
I don't.
Okay,
Must be coming from your connection.
maybe.
Santa Maharaj may not come today.
Okay.
He said he's tired.
Yeah, it's late for him. I'm always grateful when he's here because it's so late there for him.
Zana say she was going to come today.
She's working.
Oh, she's working. Was this plug out?
Yeah.
Oh, because it says only 43%.
So
How are things going with the work that you're doing?
Like, well, we're not. Thank you, by the way, for your donation.
Oh, you're very welcome.
But yeah, we haven't done too much as far as collecting is concerned.
Yeah,
Seems to be a difficult proposition.
yeah. It's a tough time for everyone.
Yeah, I think the only way to get this accomplished is by personal contact.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't seem to work
Yeah.
through remote connection.
Well, personal contact or reaching out and making phone calls. I don't know who you might be connected to or companies that are aligned with you, people that are interested that have an interest in supporting something like this.
There are so many groups,
Yeah.
like the Hindu societies and
Yeah.
ISKCON and so many groups that they have already made connections with.
Yeah.
So it's hard to establish a new connection with a
Yeah.
new group.
Yeah.
Why does this keep happening? See this? Infinity. Can I turn it off somehow? Okay, that should do it. Today is the disappearance of Jiva Goswami.
Okay.
Jiva Goswami was the youngest of the Goswamis. I think he was the nephew of Rupa and Sanatan Goswami. His father was Anupam,
Anupam.
Anupama, who was, I guess, Vallabha before he got initiated by Mahaprabhu. And he and Sanatan and Rupa Goswami were all brothers. So that made Anupam's son the nephew of Rupa and Sanatan. And he met Mahaprabhu when Shiva was very young. And he was very attached to Mahaprabhu and was at a young age, he very, influenced or impressed by the renunciation of his brother, of his uncles and his father, and how they became staunch followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so he was influenced by that same mood. And I think even when he was a kid, he used to be very attached to Krishna Balaram deities, had his own deities. And when the kids would come to play with him, he was not interested in having their association unless they wanted to do something in relationship to Krishna. He was that fixed in his consciousness. And they say when he worshipped the deities, he had become so focused that people would marvel at his attention, the attention, the fixed attention, sort of like samadhi. Uh, Meditation was so deep. They became impressed by how this child had developed such intense attraction to Krishna and Balaram. It was of that nature, different from the other kids. And as he came older, actually Mahaprabhu put his foot on his head, I think, when he was a child also. And immediately he developed love of God from that touch. And anyhow, he wanted to join his uncles in Vrindavan. I think he was living in Ramakeli, and then he wanted to go to Vrindavan to live with his uncles and practice their devotional prayers that they had awakened. Uh, but before that, they wanted him to get some education, and so they sent him to Benares, where he could study Vedanta and the different philosophical schools of Vaishnavism, and especially Sanskrit. And he was a very quick learner and very thorough understanding of things came to him very quickly. He became actually a great scholar. And then he went to Vrindavan to serve under his uncle Rupa Goswami. And there, while serving Rupa Goswami, used to, because he became good in Sanskrit, he could understand the, excuse me, the sophisticated, the very elaborate poems and poetry that Rupa Goswami would write. And he could actually proofread for him and also for Sanatan Goswami, who is actually engaged in proofreading their Sanskrit. And like that, he made himself useful cooking, proofreading, and different services like that. Then you may know the story, Rasaraj Prabhu, you may know the story of when Vallabha and Anupam made some criticism of Rupa Goswami's, one of Rupa Goswami's poems. Haribol Umadevi, Hare Krishna. And, one time, uh, he was his Vallabha is said to have made some comment on one of Rupa Goswami's verses and tried to make some correction to it, or suggested that it may be better to correct it in some way. And then Jiva Goswami didn't like that. That is, criticizing it. He accepted Rupa Goswami as his guru, and he didn't like that. Vallabha had made some comment about his guru's writing, critical. Anyhow, afterwards, Jiva Goswami followed Vallabha and then told him, you know, what you said about Rupa Goswami writing is not correct. And he explained to him how to understand it properly. Anyhow, Vallabha came back and he told Rupa Goswami, he said, your student, Jiva Goswami, is very good. He understands everything so perfectly, even corrected me that I had made some error in your and criticizing your sloka, and he made me understand what is the right way to say it. Anyhow, Rupa Goswami became very angry at Jiva Goswami. He thought, why you are not following Mahaprabhu's teaching? And you must be very humble and tolerant of others. And you are instead correcting them. Who is your father, your older, senior, and you are correcting them. Gurudev, I thought I was defending you. No, no, this is not Mahaprabhu's instruction. Go from here. Don't leave Vrindavan. Very strict. Rupa Goswami is very humble, and he would not think of correcting anyone who was correcting him. And that way, Jiva had to leave Vrindavan. Anyhow, he was very much dejected and depressed because his Gurudev, whom he was always trying to please. I was always trying to please him. Anyhow, his Gurudev felt disappointed in him, and he was ready to take his own life. That he wouldn't eat, he wouldn't do anything, and sitting and meditating on his faults. And one day, Sanatana Goswami saw him and how his health, Jiva Goswami looked so unhappy and unhealthy, distressed. And he told, oh, come back. He understood what happened and he told, come back to Goswami. I'll explain to him and you can stay there with him again. And so like that, he came back to Vrindavan and Sanatana Goswami explained, look at this boy, you have sent him away. He's such a good boy, so faithful and loyal to you. And some little thing like this. And then he asked Rupa Goswami, what are the instructions of Mahaprabhu? They do know so much. And Rupa Goswami thought, well, Mahaprabhu taught Trinadapi Sanichena. Amani Namana Dana, like that, then why you're not giving honor? Don't give dishonor to your disciple. He is a good boy. He is always honoring you. Why you're not following Mahaprabhu's instruction? Like that. And so Rupa had to take him back. He recognized his error in trying to criticize him. So, very interesting relationship they had there. And then, of course, Jiva Goswami helped Rupa Goswami establish the Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan. And his samadhi is there, Rupa Goswami's samadhi is there, and also Jiva Goswami's samadhi is there. And like that, Jiva Goswami helped Rupa Goswami in printing all his literature and checking it, proofreading it, and whatnot. And Jiva Goswami himself, he wrote almost 500,000 verses, almost 500,000 verses in Sanskrit. He himself composed something like 25 books when he was there. So he's a very great and uh, uh, productive writer. Hmm. And he always, in his sandarbhas, the sat-sandarbhas, that was a very profound compilation of all the arguments that were brought up against the Vaishnavist philosophy of Siddhanta. And he defended each and every one of the charges against that the Sampradaya of Rupa Goswami and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All the arguments that were brought up against them were defeated by him, addressed and defeated in his Sandarbhas. So that the impersonalists, the Buddhists, the different Sahaja groups, so forth, could not have anything left to their defense of their arguments that weren't addressed by Jiva Goswami. And not only that, but then he helped to establish also the proper conception or Siddhanta of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Achintya Veda Tattva. So like that, he was a very renowned theologian or philosopher. Even in India, they respect him very highly for his superior intelligence and ability to argue the Shastra from all different points of view. And he showed bhakti was the highest, more than karma, gyan, yoga, all these things, different things he addressed in his writings. And not only that, but he established some of the rasa principles also. And his Gopal Champu, and he wrote a commentary on Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and other books like that. So he knew everything from the ontological to the rasa aspect, and the theological. And the devotees, Srila Maharaj used to say that the devotees of disciples of Saraswati Thakur used to think of Saraswati Thakur himself as some type of incarnation of Jiva Goswami. Because Saraswati was also able to smash anyone who tried to criticize whatever ideas people had that they thought would criticize the ontology of the Vaishnava conception. he was able to show the incorrectness of that and establish the correctness of the Mahaprabhu's vision. So they thought of him like Jiva Goswami, defender of the Vaishnava teachings. Bhakti Rakshak, also Sri Damar's Rakshak. He is the defender, protector of the teachings of Bhakti. Anyhow, was a great Vaishnava, very learned and intelligent devotee. And today is his honor his disappearance day. Tirobhav, we call it Sanskrit Tirobhav. Do you know anything about Jiva Goswami? Rasaraj Prabhu?
Not so much in detail. No, I only read what they have in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, but I don't recall a specific event with him. So,
Uh, and the other, Jagadish, I think it's Jagadish Pandit, perhaps. His disappearance is today also. Do you know the calendar?
Pandit's disappearance day is today. Yes.
Today. But I don't remember so much about Jagadish Pandit. I don't remember too much about him. Jiva Goswami was a little bit I remember because he is part of the Goswamis and described in what I've told you about him is described by Krishnadas Kaviraj in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Something there is said about Jagadish also, but I don't remember much from what he said about him.
Something from the book.
Huh? Yes, you have something you can read? What? From where?
website, but I have something from ISKCON. Should I read that?
Is it from ISKCON? Okay.
Yeah, from Desire Tree.
In Vraja, there was a dancer named Chandrahasa, who was very expert in tasting of rasa. In Chaitanya Lila, he became Jagadish Pandit, who also took great pleasure in dancing for the Lord. Apare Yagya Patnayao Sri Jagadish Hiranyakau Ekadashya Yayor Anha Prarthayitva Gashat Prabhu. The wives of sacrificing Brahmins in Vraja took birth as Jagadish and Hiranya. The Lord Mahaprabhu asked for and ate their prasad on the Ekadasi day. That's from Gaur Ganodisha Dipika 192. Ashidvraje Chandrahaso Narthako Rasa Kovid Soya Nritya Vinodi Shri Jagadishakya Pandita. In Vraja, there was a dancer named Chandrahasa, who was very expert in the tasting of rasa. In Chaitanya Lila, he became Jagadish Pandit, who also took great pleasure in dancing for the Lord. From Guru Ganadesha Dipika 143. Jagadish Pandit is considered to be simultaneously both Nityananda Shaka and Chaitanya Shaka, a branch of both Chaitanya as well as Nityananda in the desire tree of devotion. He was born in the town of Guwahati, Pragyotispur, in the modern Assam. His father's name was Kamalaksha Bhatt. Both of his parents were devotees of Vishnu. When they died, he came with his wife Dukini and his brother Hiranya to Mayapur on the shores of the Ganga, where they built a home near the Jagannath Mishra's home. Jagadish Pandit became Jagannath Mishra's very close friend. Jagadish and his wife Dukini had the same kind of parental affection for little Nimai as Jagannath and Sachi themselves. Dukini was like a mother to Nimai and even sometimes acted as his wet nurse. Nimai, the son of Sachi, is none other than the son of Yashoda, the Supreme Lord Krishna incarnate. It is not possible for anyone but an eternal associate of the Lord to have the good fortune to treat him like a son in this way. Nimai begs for Jagadish's offering. Mahaprabhu showed through his pastimes just how dear he considered Jagadish Pandit to be. Sriman Mahaprabhu is the father of Sankirtan, and even as a child he tricked everyone into chanting the holy names. Sachi and all the other neighbors would clap their hands and sing the names of the Lord in order to make him stop crying. One Ekadasi day, however, Nimai kept on crying despite Sachimata and Jagannath Mishra's chanting the names in the usual way. His parents became confused and anxious, and in desperation asked him, "What do you want, child? What must we give you to make you stop crying?" Nimai answered, "Today they have made a rice offering to Vishnu at Jagadish's house. I want to eat some of that prasad. Give me some of that prasad and I will stop crying." Jagannath Mishra was amazed to hear Nimai say such things. How could he know that Jagadish Pandit made a rice offering on Ekadasi? Jagannath Mishra immediately went to his neighbor's house and was surprised to see that a large offering had indeed been made to their Vishnu deity. Jagannath told Jagadish of Nimai's request, adding that he was worried that it would not be correct for him to eat rice on Ekadasi day. But Gauranga's eternal associate, Jagadish Pandit, knew that it was little Gopal in the form of Nimai who was hungry. Without any hesitation, he gave the entire offering to Jagannath Mishra. As soon as Nimai received the plate, he immediately stopped crying and joyfully started to eat. Jagadish Pandit and Hiranya are Chaitanya's branches of the desire tree of devotion. The merciful Lord gave him his grace when he was a little boy. He ate the offerings to Vishnu at their house on the Ekadasi day. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita 1.10.70 through 71. Jagadish Pandit purifies the entire universe because the nectar of love for Krishna pours from him like torrents of rain. 1.11.30. The above-mentioned pastime is described in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Adikand, chapter 4. The Lord grabs the things of a devotee even if he doesn't offer them, but he shows no interest whatsoever in the gifts of a non-devotee. Just as Mahaprabhu was conquered by the devotion of Jagadish Pandit, so too was his dearest companion Nityananda Prabhu, who considered him to be one of his own intimate associates. Nityananda Prabhu was Jagadish's life and soul. Jagadish was present in Panihati for the Chira Dadhi Mahotsav, and the Jagadish and Jagannath Mishra. Jagadish and Lord Jagannath. Before taking sannyas, Mahaprabhu ordered Jagadish to go to Nilachala to preach Krishna Bhakti and the religious practice of the age, Harinam Sankirtan. The son of Nanda, Sri Krishna, and the son of Jagannath Mishra, Sri Gaura Sundara, are the same truth as Jagannath himself. When he arrived in Puri, Jagadish went for Jagannath's darshan and melted with love when he saw him. When on his way back to Bengal, however, he felt extreme separation from Jagannath. Thousands and thousands of people go on pilgrimage to Puri every single day. All of them take darshan of Jagannath, but how many of them are overcome by feelings of separation when returning home? Perhaps once in a while, some fortunate individual is able to feel such emotions. If one truly feels such pangs of separation, then this is a sign of Jagannath's mercy. If not, then one has not truly received the grace of the Lord. Jagannath Deva saw Jagadish crying and so mercifully appeared to him in a dream and told him to take his vigraha and serve it. Simultaneously, he appeared to the king of Orissa and ordered him that at the time of the Nava Kalevara, when the wooden deity of Jagannath is changed, the outgoing form should be given to Jagadish Pandit. Thus, when he met Jagadish, the Maharaj considered it to be a great honor to give him Jagannath's outgoing form, which is known as the Samadhi Stha Vigraha. Jagadish prayed to Jagannath, asking him just how he could possibly carry the heavy figure of the deity all the way back to Bengal. Jagannath answered him that he would become as light as a cork. Jagadish should simply cover him with a new cloth and then carry him with the help of a staff. Jagadish would have to make permanent arrangements to stay wherever Jagannath was set down on the ground. Jagadish enlisted the aid of two Brahmins, and they took turns carrying Jagannath as far as the village of Jashura on the banks of the Ganges, near the town of Chakdaha. Jagadish left Jagannath with one of the Brahmins and went to take his bath in the Ganges. Suddenly, the Brahmin found that Jagannath was becoming heavy and heavier, and that he was no longer able to hold him up. Thus, when Jagadish came back from his bath, he saw Jagannath sitting on the ground and realized that the Lord wanted to stay in that very spot. Chakdaha is a historical site and ancient holy place. During the Puranic age, it was also known as Rathavarma. Pradyumna killed the demon Sambara there during Krishna's incarnation at the end of Dwapara age, and thus it was known as Pradyumna Nagara. Prior to that, when Bhagirath was bringing down the Ganga in order to save the Sagara dynasty, he buried the wheel of his chariot there. Thus the town was also given the name Chakradaha, which in time has been transformed into Chakdaha. When the local people heard that Jagannath deity from Puri had come to stay in Jashura, they flocked there in thousands to seek his darshan. This is how Jagadish decided to remain in Jashura rather than return to his home in Mayapur. Both Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited the Jagannath temple in Jashura on 2 occasions, being attracted by Jagadish Pandit and his wife's parental devotion. They held Sankirtan and a feast both times. As the Lord was about to leave Jashura to go on to Puri, Dukini began to cry from the imminent separation so intensely that the Lord agreed to remain behind in the form of Gaura Gopal deity in the course of the couple's householder life. They had a son named Ramabhadra Goswami. And then there's some history of the Jashore temple after Jagadish Pandit's disappearance, if you want me to continue reading.
Okay. Dandavats, Kanapir, did he?
Dandavat pranams Maharaj. Dandavat everybody. Sorry I'm late.
Hare Krishna. So we were counting the pastimes of Jiva Goswami and Jagadish Pandit,
Okay.
their disappearance today. Um, well, I think we have enough for kirtan. I think we better. Rasarashvo, would you like to lead?
Yes, Maharaj.
Thank you.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya
Jai
Shri Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Prabhu
Prabhu
Nityananda Shri Advaita
Nityananda
Gadadhara
Srivasadi
Srivasadi
Gaura
Gaura Bhakta
Bhakta
Vrindan.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya
Jai
Shri Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Prabhu
Prabhu Nityananda
Nityananda
Shri
Gadadhara
Radha
Srivasadi
Srivasadi Gaura
Gaura Bhakta Vrindan.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Prabhu
Prabhu
Nityananda
Nityananda
Shri
Shri
Advaita
Advaita
Gadadhara
Gadadhara
Srivasadi
Srivasadi Gaura
Gaura Bhakta
Bhakta Vrinda.
Vrindan.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama, Hare
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Nitai
Jai
Gaura
Gora
Hari
Hari
Bol,
Bol, Hari Bol,
Hari
Hari Bol, Nitai Gora Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Nitai
Nitai
Gaura
Hari
Hari Bol,
Bol,
Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaura Haribo.
Jaya Jaya Guru Dev, Guru Dev, Guru Dev, Jaya Jaya Guru Dev.
Jaya
Jaya
Jaya Guru
Gurudev,
Dev, Guru
Gurudev, Gurudev,
Dev,
Jaya Jaya
Jaya Guru
Gurudev.
Dev.
Jaya Jaya Guru Dev, Guru Dev, Guru Dev, Jaya Jaya Guru Dev.
Jaya
Jaya Jaya Guru
Gurudev,
Dev,
Gurudev,
Guru Dev, Jaya
Gurudev,
Jaya Guru
Jaya
Dev.
Gurudev.
Ora Premanande Hari 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 Hari
Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Acharya Dev Ki Jai.
Jai
Jai.
Samaveda Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Premanandi
Jai.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Ayo. Sripad Bhakti Puri Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai.
So that's page Vandana, page 38. Kirtan by Vandeham
Deham.
Deham
Guru.
Sri Yuta Pada
Yuta
Kamalam
Parakamalam.
Sri Gurun
Gurun
Vaisnavam
Vaisnavam Cha.
Sri Rupam
Nirupam
Sagarajata
Rajatam
Sahagana
Sahagana
Raghunatanvita
Raghunatam Vitam
Sajivam
Sajivam
Sadvaitam
Sadvaitam
Savadutam
Savadutam
Parichana
Parijana
Sahitam
Sahitam
Krishna Chaitanya Devam
Chaitanya Devam
Sri
Sri
Radha
Radha
Krishna
Krishna
Pada
Pada
Sahagana
Sagana
Raghupa Sri
Lalita
Vishakanvitam
Sakanvitam Cha
Om
Omagya
Agana
Atimirandasya
Jananjana Salakaya
Ananjana Salakaya
Chakshurun
Militam Jena
Tasmai Shri
Sri
Gurave
Gurave Namaha
Puja Shri Guru
Sri
Bhargava
Guru Varga Vandita
Mahabhava Vanditaya
Vanditaya Sada
Purva Parya Param
Sarvaparya Parampara Pracharita
Kalita Pragya Purya
Purta Kite
Bhakti Nirmala Nirjarasya
Nirmaraniharasyam
Nirvikam Samrakshakam Sadara
Sarasakam
Vande
Sadaram
Shri Guru Devam
Andasi Gurudevang Anatha
Dashira Acharya
Arya Varyam
Gorvabhista
Vista
Sapurakam
Supurakam
Guru Ganaya Ashisha
Gunarashisha
Sambushita
Sambhushitam
Chintya Chintya Samasta
Yachintya Samasta Veda Nipunam
Rupa Patana
Niranta Pantanuga
Nabdidam Ujvalam Bharatanu Ajanvitam
Vidam Jalam Bharatanu
Vande Vishwagurun
Bhaktivitam
Charya
Sundaram
Bhagavan Prem No
Vande
Hipita
Vishwa Gurum Charivya Bhagavat Prenoyi Bijapradam
Devam Divyatanam
Devam Divyatanu Suchandavadanam
Sarvajilan
Malaka Chilanchitam
Puram
Chandrananda Puram Sadeka Varanam
Hiranyam
Vaigya Vidya Buddhim
Shri Siddhanta
Dhantamidin Subhakti Lasitam
Sadanam
Saraswatanam
Pandita
Varam Vanditam Sumadam Rekasaranam Iswaram Sridharam
Shri Siddhanta Saraswati
Santa Saraswati
Gaudiya
Ito Gaudiya Guru Vangaye
Ato Banavi
Ato Vanuriva Pravate Gagane Gaura Sankirtanai
Ayavara
Bharati Miguladara
Jivan
Ritya Jivanimam
Krishna Prema Sudhapi
Prema Sudadhe Gahana
Prabhu
Sukam
Sambhaje
Mahaprabhum Thambaye
O Gaur Kishoraya
Namo Gaura Kisaraya Bhaktavaduttamurtaye Gaurangiri
Bhava
Padmavrinjaya Bhavani Sevine
Shri Bhakti Vinodam
Bhakti
Shri
Vinodam
Gauri
Gaura
Swarup
Shakti
Bhakti
Sarupakam
Shakti Samraja
Sastragyatangayan
Adraksa Sudhani
Rasa Sudhanidhim
Gauravajas Ashishaya
Gauravrajasti
Vaishnavaya
Sesai Vaishnava Vandya Vigraham
Nandi
Jagannatha Prabhu Bande Yamadindrita Vaishnavam
Panchakalpa
Sakalpataruvyascha
Tarubhyacha
Duyaivacha Patitanam Bhavanti Navajo Namo Namaha
Panchatatvatmakam Krishna
Tatatvamakam Krishnam
Bhaktarupa
Charupa Sarupakam
Bhaktavatar Purakyam Mami
Vasavataram Bhaktakyam Mami Bhakta Shaktikam
Namo Mahabaranaya
Namo
Prema
Mahavadanyaya
Pradayate
Prema Pradayate
Krishnaya
Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya
Krishnamne Namaste
Gaura Shri Maha
Ayatam Surto Pango
Yatam Sato Pangor
Amamati
Anamanda Mate Gati
Sarvaswapradam
Sarvasva
Bhujao
Padambujo Tatamada
Vrindaranya
Namohano
Kalpadumada
Vrindana
Manrantagara
Kalpadrumada
Srinasanasto Sri
Marranagara
Gandharva
Singhasanastavu Gandharva Sila Govinda
Sevyamanu
Devo Tarivi Sevyamanu Smarami
Sriman Rasa
Man
Rasamrami
Rasa Rasa Ram Devi
Sivata
Tam
Tatapatita
Sivata Tata
Arshadvenu
Stita Tam Beno Sare Gopi
Gopilata Sri Krishna
Sriyestuna
Vrinayaya
Priya
Tulsidevaya
Tulasi
Priyaya
Devaya
Keshavascha
Ke
Krishna Bhakti
Savascha
Pradideti
Krishna
Natavai
Bhakti Prati Devi Kevatyai
Orthanatva
Namo
Mantra
Namaha
Gurun Bhagavatarthadan
Matra Mantra
Yasadragat
Guru Bhagavatarthadan
Bodhaya Mudire
Jagat Natva Tato Jaya Mudiraji
Jai Sapadika Shri Shri Guru
Saparika Sri Guru Gauranga Gandharikya Gandhava Govinda Sundara Padatana Jayastu
Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
Shri
Prabhu
Advaita
Nityananda Sadvaita
Shivadi
Gadadhar
Gaura
Vasari
Bhakta
Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna
Hare Rama
Krishna Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Rama 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 Hare Hare
Jaya Srila Prabhupada Srila Gopal Srila Gurudev Srila Chardev Ki Jai Jai Giri Govardhan Ki Jai
Jai
Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Hari
Ki Jai Hari 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 Bol
Haribo Oh Devi,
Dandavanama.
which one do you like to sing today?
Which
Which
one you
bhajan?
like more? Sure.
Huh? Which one I like? Yasomadhyamanta.
Okay.
Okay.
Stand up.
Page 16.
यशोमती नंदन रजवर नागर गोकुल रंजन काना
Yasomati
Yasomati Nandana Vrajavarunagara Kula Ramjana Shana
गोपी परनदन मदन मनोहर कालिया दमन विदाना
Gopi
Gopi
Paranadana
Paranadana
Madana
Madana
Manohara
Manohara
Kaliyada
Kaliya
Madhavita
Damana Vidhana
आमल हरि नाम हमिय विलासा
Amalarina
Amala
Mamiya
Harinam Hamiya
Vilasa
Vilasa
आमल हरि नाम हमिय विलासा
Amalarina
Amala
Mamiya
Harinam Hamiya
Vilasa
Vilasa
विपन पुरंदर नवीन नगर वर वंशीवदन सुवासा
Vipina
Vipina
Purandara
Purandara
Vamsi Vadana
Vamsi Vadana
Suvasa
Suvasa
रज जन पालना हसुर कुल नासना नंद गोदन रकुयाला
Raja Jana
Rajajana
Palana
Palana
Nanda
Nanda
Gosana
Gosana Rakoyana
ಗೋವಿಂದ ಮಾಧವ ನವನೀತ ತಸ್ಕರ ಸುಂದರ ನಂದ ಗೋಪಾಲ
Govinda
Govinda
Madhava
Navadita
Madhava
Taskara
Nanda
Nanda
Gopala.
Gopala
ಯಮುನಾ ತಟಚರ ಗೋಪಿ ವಸನಹರ ರಸರಸಿಕ ಕೃಪಮಾಯ
Yamuna
Chara
Yamuna Tata Chara Gopi
Rasana
Vasana
Sita Kripa
Rasarasika
Moya.
Kripa Moya
ಶ್ರೀರಾಧ ವಲ್ಲಭ ವೃಂದವನ ನಟವರ ಭಕುತಿ ವಿನೋದ ಹಾಸ್ರಾಯ
Shri Radhava
Shri Radha
Natavara Akati
Bhakti
Vinodasaya.
Vinodasraya
ಸುಮತಿ ನಂದನ ರಜವರ ನಾಗರ ಗೋಕುಲ ರಂಜನ ಕಾನ
Yasomati
Yasomati
Nandana
Nandana Rajavaro
Brajavara
Nagara
Gokula
Gokula Ranjana Kana
ಗೋಪಿ ಪರಣದನ ಮದನ ಮನೋಹರ ಕಾಳಿಯ ದಮನ ವಿಧಾನ
Gopi Paranadana
Gokul
Madana.
Paranadana Madana Manohara Kaliyada Munavidhana
ಸರಳ ಭಕ್ತಿ ವಿನೋದ್ ಠಾಕೂರ್ ಕಿ ಜೈ.
Jai.
Therese, would you like to read
Jai.
English?
Sure. Sri Krishna, who is known as Khan, is Yasoda's darling son. Brahaja's
Raja. Raja.
paramour, Gokula's delight, the Gopi's life and wealth, the enchanter of Cupid, and the conqueror of Kaliya. His names and nectarine pastimes are all transcendental. He is the king of Raj's forest and the best of young paramours. He beautifully plays the flute. He is the guardian of Raja's residence, the destroyer of the demons, and the keeper of Nanda's cows. He is known as Govinda, he who nourishes the cows, senses, Vedas, and the world, and Madhava, Sri Radha's consort. He is Nanda's beautiful cowherd boy and a butter thief. He is a spy on the Yamuna's banks and the stealer of the Gopi's garment. He is the relisher of the Rasa Leela and the embodiment of mercy. He is Sri Radha's beloved, Vrindavan's great dancer, and Bhakti Vinod's shelter.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
And Kanapriya, did he?
Nandavats Maharaj.
Which person would you like to sing today?
What would you like me to sing, Maharaj?
All right, let's see. How about Vaisnava Tagore, page 58?
Okay, 58. Okay, Maharaj. Hoy Vaishnava Thakura Toyara Sakara Ita Sekarunakari.
ಓಹೇ ವೈಷ್ಣವ
Tagore,
Vaishnava
Jaya
Thakura Sagara Edase Karuna Kori
Tiha Pada Chaya Shrotahi Amaya Tumara Charana Dori.
ದಿಯಾ ಪಾದ
Diya
ಸದಹೇ
Padachaya Sadaya
Kamara
Maya
Charana
Kamara
Dori.
Charana Dhari
Chaya Vedadomi Chaya Dosha Shrotihi Chaya Guna Dehadasi.
Jaya
Jaya
Vegadami
Vedadami,
Jaya
Jaya Doshisha,
Vegadami,
Jaya
Guna
Jaya Saraswati, Jaya
Dhyadasi.
Guna Dehadas.
Jaya Satsanga Dehahi Amare Vasachi Sangira Se.
Jaya
Jaya
Satsanga
Jaya
Deha
Satsanga
Hare
Dehi
Vasati
Amare
Asati Sangera
Vasachi Sangira Se.
Ekaki Hamara Nahi Paya Pala Harinama Sankirtani.
Ekaki Sama
Ekaki
Jaya
Amara Nahi
Hare
Nama
Paya Balo
Hare
Harinama Sankirtane.
তুমি কৃপা করি শতবিন্দু দিয়া দেহ কৃষ্ণ নামতানে
Tumi Krupa
Tumi
Kori
kripa kori Srada Bindu
Shara Bindu
Diya
Diya
Deha
Jaya
Krishna
Krishna Namada
Namadhane.
কৃষ্ণ সে তোমারা কৃষ্ণ দাইতি পারা তোমার আশা কাতিয়া আছে
Krishna Shetumara Krishna Dite
Krishna se tomara Krishna dite paro tomara sakatiya che.
আমি তো কঙ্গালা কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি দাইতা বাপাছে পাছে
Amitu Kangal Krishna Krishna Bole
Amito Kangala Krishna Krishna Bali Aitava Pache Pache.
জয় বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর দয়াল বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুর
Jaya
Jaya
Vaishnava
Jaya
Thakur
Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur.
হরে কৃষ্ণ
and let's see. Rasrajfu,
Yes, Maharaj.
you have
Which
any
which song
favorite?
do you?
You have any favorite?
Not really. Do you want anything?
Do I want anything? I want so many
Yes.
things.
Okay.
Nitai, page 65.
65.
65, huh?
Okay. Yes. Nitai pada kamala kotri chanda susitala yechayaya jagata judaya.
Nitai
নিতাই
Pada Kamala,
কমলা
Koti
কোটি
Chandra
চন্দ্র
Sridhara,
বিদ্যালা
Jaya
Ekaya
জয়া জগত
Jagata
Jaya
Sudaya.
Hena nitai bhine vai Radha Krishna paite nai Dritha kori dara nitai paya.
है
Yena
Ena
निताय
Nitai
विने
Vinay,
Radha
Radha
राधा कृष्ण
Krishna
देना
Paitaya, Nina
Kari
गीता
Koti
करी
Radha
निताय
Nitai Rapaya.
पाय
Se sambandhanai jara Vrita jama ghilatara Sei pasu bada durachara.
Se
से
Mandana
संबंधना
Iya,
हिजड़ा
Navita Janne
जन्म के
Bhavita,
द्वारा
Seva
Ekasubhadatu
Duracha
Nitai Navalila Muke Majila Samsara Suke Vidyakule Kikari Vetara
Vidyakulaina
Valila
Valila
Mukhe
Mukhi
Majila Samsara
Majila
Yakule ki kari
Yakule
Vetara
Ahankare Mato Hoina Nitai Pada Pasariya Asatyere Satya Korimani
aham
Ahankari Mata Haina Nitai Pada Parashriya
kari
Asatyaye Satya
Ani
Koti
Nitayar Karuna Have Braje Radha Krishna Pare Dharanitayer Charandukani
nitai
Nitaye Karuna Bhave
Raja
Radha Krishna Pave Aranitaye
Ani
Charanduki
Nitayar Charana Satya Tahara Sevaka Nitya Nitai Pada Sada Koro Asa
nitai
Nitaya
charana
Satya
Jana
Tahara
Devakanya
Nitya
pada
Nitaya
Nitya Pada Sada
Sadakoroasa
Narottama Bhadaduki Nitai More Karasuki Rakaranga Charanirapasa
narottam
Narottama Bharaduki
Nitya
Jai
Nitya
Mode
Ora
Karasuki
Shuki
Rakatara
Rakaranga
Charanirasa
Daya Dayal Nitai Dayal Nitai Dayal Nitai Jaya Dayal Nitai
Jaya Jaya
Jaya Jaya Nitai Jaya Nitai
Jaya Jaya
Jaya Nitai
Sri Narottam Das Thakur Ki Jai
Jai
Nanda Prabhu ki jai.
Jai
Krishna Keshava Prabhu, which one would you like to say?
Which one would you like, Maharaj? I would like to sing Jai Radha Madhava.
Okay. Page 97.
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari
jaya
Jaya Radha
Radha
Madhava Jaya
Madhava
Kunja
Jaya
Bihari
Kunja Vihari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari
Jaya
jaya
Gopi Jana
Gopijana
Vallabha
Vallabha
Girivaradhari
Jaya Givaradhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari
Jaya
Gopiyana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya
Yashoda
Girivaradari
Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Vraja Raja Jana
Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamunatira
Yashodanandana Vraja Raja Jana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Jamunatira
Munatira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamunatira
Natira Vanachari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari
Radha
Radha
Madhava
Madhava
Hari
Vihari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivharadhari
Jaya Gope Jana Vallabha Radha
Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana
Yashodananda
Yashodanandana Vraja Raja Jana Ranjana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamunatira
Natira Vanachari
Jai Radha Madhava Ki Jai
Jai
Jai Shri Bhakti Thakur Ki Jai
Jai
Ija.
What's time? All right. So, where do we land off in our Prapanna Jivanamrita readings? Were you there last time? I missed it.
New chapter. The new chapter is text
Yes.
5. Chapter 4, I think.
It's
Text 5.
the page 57 and the text, I think it was number 4.
Okay. Oh. Getting feedback.
That's for me.
Huh?
My side.
That was your thing. Your mic. Okay. Page 57. Text number 4.
Yes.
Devastuto. Adisamanda hininam. Aramita. Rajaniam. Niyatra Vaikunta Katha Sudapaga Nasaravo Bhagavatas Tad Ashrayaha Nayatra Yagesha Makha Mahotsava Sudeshaloko Sudeshalokopi Navaisa Savyatam Devastuto. Everything devoid of a relationship with the Lord Hari should be rejected. One should not hide wherever the river of nectarian tidings of Krishna does not flow, wherever Krishna's surrendered devotees cannot be found, and wherever the grand festival of chanting Krishna's holy name is not conducted, even if it is in heaven, prepared by the demigods. Are they talking about some place in particular here? Was that?
Doesn't it feels like it's talking about anywhere there's not
Yeah.
Krishna or Krishna's devotees, even in heaven, even in other planets, even where
Oh,
there's most opulence.
oh. Amiya Sindhu Prabhu Ki Jai.
Hare
Anywhere, huh? Anywhere in the material world, even heaven. Anywhere in the material world means what? There's no pastimes of narration of the pastimes of Krishna. There are no devotees, and there's no chanting of the holy name. What's that called? The
Maya?
material world.
Like he- yeah,
It's the
material world.
material world, right? Whether it be called heaven or hell or the middle planets, that's the material world for you. Huh? Should be rejected. So,
Well, I remember when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati wants to send some of his disciples to the Western countries. I think that that's also the situation that going to a country they have no devotees and no connection with Krishna, but still by the mercy of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati they have to do a service, no?
hmm, then what to do?
It's like a
Then,
duty, no? Like, even if Krishna sends you to hell, you say, well, maybe I have to preach in hell. I don't know. I have to do some service.
so Prabhupada came here
Yeah,
with all these things were absent. But what did he do? He created his own associates.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
He changed the whole environment.
He, he came and he talked to them about the transcendental nectarian pastimes of Krishna, and he surrounded himself with surrendered souls, and he was always chanting, and he had them chanting Krishna's holy name. He somehow inspired the whole environment. If the environment was not inspired, he inspired it. Quite amazing, huh?
Like a devotee is like a touchstone. Like everything they touch it changes into.
What's that?
Mia Sindhu is driving, but he's listening
Oh,
carefully.
okay. Pay attention to the road.
Yes.
So these three things, huh? We want to reside where the pastimes of the Lord are being discussed, where there are other devotees are there to encourage us, and where the holy names or the Hakari Katha are constantly being chanted, being sounded. That is our happiness. If we can find that, we are happy. Whether it be on the air or in the internet or wherever, in person. We like that kind of atmosphere. We live and thrive in that type of atmosphere. Even if we are driving or whatever, we try to listen to these things. Mhm. This is what is favorable for what? Favorable for devotion. That kind of situation is favorable. And if we don't have anything favorable, don't have a situation that's favorable for devotion, we don't want to uh, go there. We don't want to associate with that. Natural for devotee. And the non-devotees, they appreciate just the opposite. They like to go where there's all kinds of prajalpa, unnecessary talking. Uh, Everybody's into exploitation, and they're all chanting nonsense about this, that, and the other thing. Mm, don't like that atmosphere. Prayers by the demigods. Okay, any comments, questions, additions, subtractions, multiplications? Okay, next, number 5. Vyavaharika Guru Vadayo Pi Partikulam Ched Varjaniya Eva Gurur Sasyat Svajanon Sasyat Pitan Sasvaj Janani Nasasyat Daivam Natatsyan Napatischa Sasyan Namocha Yadyak Samupeta Mrityam. This is from Sri Rishabhasya, Rishabhadev. When the traditional guru and guardians are found to be unfavorable, they too must be surely abandoned. In India, there are so many family gurus from tradition. They have gurus and they don't teach proper things, though. So they're guru in name only, and according to the tradition. But you'll find they're drinking tea, smoking biddies, and not following anything very closely. They don't teach the scripture properly. They don't really know the meaning of Gita and so forth and so on. Yet they have the name, a title of guru. So that's what is being described here, I would imagine. Traditional guru and guardians, uh, although they are presenting themselves in the name guru, they don't provide the proper instruction, proper guidance. So one who cannot save other souls from the world of impending death, that is, one who cannot teach the path of devotion, he cannot be a teacher, although he may be called guru. He cannot be a relative and not worthy of the designation. He cannot be a father. He is not qualified to beget a son. She cannot be a mother. She should not bear a child. He cannot be a god. The demigods who cannot deliver others from material bondage are not entitled to accept the worship from human society, and he cannot be a husband. His hand is not fit to accept in marriage. This is what Sri Rishabhadev has said. Mhm. So these positions in society, they are actually religious positions. In the Dharma, Sanatana Dharma tradition, everyone has a responsibility. If they take any position of authority, any position of guiding others, whether their own children or anyone, teacher, students, so forth, if they don't know that uh, destination of which life is intended, then how they can be a guardian to anyone if they don't know the destination? What kind of guardian, what kind of guide can we be? If someone is lost in the forest and you find another person there, and you say, "How do I get out of this forest?" We can try together. Uh, Not very good, not very hopeful. If we're lost in the forest, we want to find someone who knows how to go through and to get out. That is proper guardian. Otherwise, blind man following the blind, huh? Blind following, they both fall in the ditch. They'll both fall in the ditch. So we must know the destination, how to, where we are, where we want to go, and how to get there. That's called Sambandha Abhideya Prayojan. Excuse me. That is a proper human being. Mm. And then it's considered proper human life according to Veda. In modern society, these things are not taken so seriously. Therefore, you see all this craziness, huh? And then, and last week in the capital of the United States, huh? All these unguided people uh, with of different extreme natures. They came. Each one wanted to do something different, but they were all for Trump. They knew they were there for
Yeah.
Trump. And
Yeah.
and what does he know? Where was he leading them? Huh? God only knows what he wanted. Uh, Anyhow, he gathered all these extremists, people of different natures, and militias and uh, supremacists and uh, pagans and who knows what kind of people they were. Anyhow, somehow he gathered them all, and they're all very excited in whatever direction Trump was leading them, and even that Trump doesn't know. He didn't know. Now his uh, smashed. Huh? This whole thing is finished. Mm. They were all saying God is directing him. Yes, so many were saying evangelists, evangelicals. Yes, they were claiming it was sent by God. Mm. So God allowed them to think like that. And they still think he has another 4 years. That's actually what they say. According to the religion inspiration, those people are saying he had 8 years to be president. And he was going to guide them all back to religion and prayers and the schools and all that other stuff. And it turned, God played them all for fools. Huh? He took their foolishness and played with them, just like Hiranyakashipu.
Took their money.
Yeah, everything. Took their dignity. What money was nothing. Their dignity, their intelligence, their wisdom, their goodness. He took them just like Hiranyakashipu. He wanted to be the greatest in the universe, and so Vishnu played with him. Yes, you can become the greatest. Do this. Do whatever you want. And when he wanted to fight with Vishnu, he thought he could kill him. Come on, kill me. Come on. He was playing with him like that. And he came in the form of a lion, and he was pulling him with his nails, scratching him, warning him, and still just not enough to kill him. Just come, play with me, try to kill me. Come on. No, he was doing like that. And then finally he put him on his lap. Enough is enough. Now, take him apart. Tear him apart from limb to limb. Huh? And finished. So God sometimes plays with those who are foolish. You want to do this, you want to do that foolishly. You think so much of yourself. Come on, let me see. And for 4 years he played like that. And all these people came huh, playing with him, living in delusional consciousness. What great thing they were going to do. Huh? Make America great again. When was the last time it was great? And then what are you going to do now? Huh? Had practical problems to solve in this country. And they were ignoring that. Delusional.
Mm.
Huh? All under a delusion of grandeur. We live under that delusion of grandeur. Necessary to become realistic, see things for what they are. This world is a difficult place. We should not mistaken that. Think it is some place where we can have what we want, and that so simply, so cheaply. I have to see what the situation is. Huh? Prabhupada wrote Bhagavad Gita as it is. What is the situation as it is? Don't think in some delusional way. This world is a world of death, Mrityalok. Hmm? Some people want to have paradise here, but they have to recognize what kind of limitation is there and how to live within that limitation is also necessary. Otherwise, we lose sight of things properly, and then end up with nothing. End up with nothing. Thinking we're going to have heaven, we have nothing. So that kind of leadership, whether they be what we call them, model citizens or uh, sincere religionists, political leaders, moral leaders, pastors, priests, whatever they may be, social influencers. Uh,
Mm.
it's all so much tweet. The birds are tweeting and the people are tweeting. What is that tweeting? What is the value of all that tweet? Uh, of the tweeters. It's all tweeting. That's not useful. That won't help us. Huh? We need something more substantial than that. So, whatever position, even father, mother, teacher, uh, president, vice president, senator, whatever it may be, poet, philosopher, they're not their position that is the important thing. And Aristotle made this very clear also. What is the final thing? What is it for? What are you live? What is the life for? What is that for the sake of which we exist? What is that? What is that for the sake of which we are put here, of our existence is here for? What is that? Who does not know that, then they cannot have any proper conception of anything. All delusion, all mental idol of the mind, mental concoction. That's all. We must know this thing, and only with its the final purpose, the ultimate purpose of our life. That must be known. Must be known. Must be known. There is knowledge. There, everything comes into place. Proper conception is possible. Without that, proper conception will never be there. Never even be possible. So the final cause, the final purpose, that for the sake of which we exist. Not merely that we exist, but to know that for which we exist. It's not going to help to make up some purpose of life. Well, life is whatever you want to make of it. That's what people say. Life is whatever you want to make of it. Yes, I have purpose. I make it up myself. Why I should try to have some other purpose somebody else told me. Will that be sufficient? They all have some other purpose they have made up. Trump has his own things that he wanted to accomplish. Is that sufficient? Is that sufficient to guide people? He had such big ideas. Make America great. Such a big purpose. And they were all going after this. We have no other purpose. Oh yes, we can make a parent. Without thinking, what is that great again? What was the thing they were aiming for? What was the greatness? Huh? What greatness is there? And you ask them, what is that greatness? They can't tell you. Huh? And he says again, greatness again. When was the last time we were great? What is that time? What year was that? Huh? What did we do? What did we have? They can't tell any of that. Just just some tweets, Twitter. Mm. Meaningful as the birds tweet. Tweet is probably more meaningful than that.
For sure.
They're trying to get some food or some mate or something like that. When human beings tweet, then we don't know what the heck about. So these things they must be abandoned, huh? All this talking of those who don't know what they're talking about. What is it? What does it mean to be? What are we here for? I've not looked into that dimension of life. And then we cannot accept that it's meaningful. We're not uh, diverted. We're not diverted by such persons. How could people be so foolish? How could they be so foolish? My own relatives, a lot of them have that kind of foolishness. They've accepted. Even devotees may have accepted that. I don't know. Even police, they found even the policemen, even within the capital, the lawmakers themselves, they all became fooled by that. And then we put them as our representatives. So, Goranga and millions of people fought, fought for that, and voted for that. And they still do, even they see what is happening, what is the result of it, they still continue to be faithful. So what to do? Huh? How do you convince them? One time I heard someone say, the only thing we can do is to say, keep the truth, say the truth, repeat the truth again and again. Only way we can fight this delusion. Repeat the truth. So that's our position also. What can we do? We can only tell what Krishna has said in the Bhagavad Gita, what the great saints have told, what the Vedas have told. We repeat that again and again. And then by Krishna's grace, they may come out of their illusion. Some situation may come where their delusional world crashes and they recognize, what have I done? Foolish. And a great day of victory for them. Any comment, question?
Yeah, Maharaj. Srila Bhakti Rakasiddhar Maharaj said that at the beginning, he said, when the traditional guru and guardians are found to be unfavorable, they must surely be abandoned. But the only way that a person can abandon his guardians is like if the person have some advanced consciousness, because otherwise we will follow. So what I mean is, if we don't have like an advanced consciousness, we'll feel that the guardian is taking me in a correct way. But it has to be some advancement in the person to see that it has to be abandoned.
Hmm.
Otherwise, if we don't have a sukriti, we will still follow because we don't know that it's wrong.
Hmm.
That will be the situation, right? We don't have sukriti, we don't know. Like many people follow somebody because they don't know anything better.
Yes, of course. All these people don't, they don't know what is the right thing to follow. Well, again, the only solution to that problem is that somebody who has the good intelligence, they have to repeat what they know, what the truth is, so that others may also hear and be influenced. Just as they were influenced by one particular person talking, a person who's telling the truth, they may be influenced by that also. But that requires our sincerity to hear everything. That's an important point to also. Don't think we know everything that we're finished students. We have to listen also to our own gurus, our own teachers, our own understanding of things. We should never feel that we have the final understanding. Huh? Always inquire. Always inquire. Go higher. Go deeper. No fear of that. And I think any true or sincere devotee has that connection with Krishna through humility. And Krishna doesn't mislead us. We may mislead ourselves. Well, sometimes Krishna misleads us too, to get us out of our nonsense. Uh, just like I said, sometimes he likes to play with this foolishness of the fallen souls, mm, to lead them into some embarrassing situation where they recognize, oh, I was being so foolish, and I become more humble. But I think that's the right direction. If we're becoming more and more humble, we're not thinking we know everything. There's the proper direction. Uh, when we're realizing we don't know so much, uh, when we realize we don't know anything, and we're just going on that inner that what do they call that? The stillness within our heart, that quiet place within our heart, which is connecting us with something that we don't even know what it is. Then Krishna won't abandon us. I don't think we have to fear. And if we do, then what to do? If we can't get that connection, if we don't have that direction, what to do? It's our last hope. It's our last hope. So we have to trust something. Huh? And and I think, like I said, we don't get into so many delusions about ourselves. Let's remain humble and sincere. And if that is the way our life is going more and more, then I think we're safe. As soon as we start thinking in some bigger way, then we have to be careful. Mhm. I have to be careful. What am I doing? And all that kiss. You ever hear of kiss? Keep it simple, stupid. A good idea. Keep it simple. What am I? I'm not so bright. I have to understand things in a simple way, huh? A heartfelt way. What more can we do than that? And then if we're deluded, if we're going to be misled, we'll just have to accept that humbly also. But we don't give up that point of faith within our heart. Otherwise, we have nothing. And we trust that Krishna is our friend. We haven't done, if we're honest, if we're sincere in our dedication and devotion to Him, then what else? We don't have to fear anything. Devotee praise. So many things, so many situations and difficulties and delusions I may be put into, but don't let me forget you. Huh? In the end, I don't want to forget that there's Krishna. I want to lose faith in that. Whatever kind of situation we may end up in, as a devotee's prayer. Let me keep that little spark, that little spark. And in the meantime, we try to follow what Guru Dev has asked us. If there's no major deviation, we can try to follow Guru's instruction. That will help us. Something positive. And then we have to rely on Krishna. What do you want to do with me? You want to lead me to hell? You want me to lead me to heaven? You want me to take me back to Godhead? I'm depending on you. And I trust you will do what is the best for me. Don't leave it in my hands. Please don't do that. Huh? I leave myself in your hand. I trust you have the right thing. You know the right thing. Haribol.
Kushun was asking me a question when we were in the car, like, say, who is a sad guru? And I was telling her that a sad guru is a genuine guru, like a person that actually, if you follow, you get you can get liberation from this material world and get connected with the devotion. But that is a sad guru. Now, so many people they pretend to be guru. How they get that power that the people follow them, even when they are not sincere? So I think it's because we depends on the sincerity in the heart. We will see them as a sad guru or not. Otherwise, we will not know who is genuine.
I I feel that if you're genuine, then you'll have a genuine guru. One who doesn't want to cheat himself or herself. They won't follow some other cheater. They can't. When you come to Guru, you know that this Guru or not. I think everyone knows that. Maybe there are different types of mentalities. And I don't feel attracted to everyone in that way. Only certain persons that I've met in my life, like Prabhupada and Sridhar Maharaj, Govinda Maharaj, or Chaya Maharaj. There are some reasons there that we put our trust in them. Something about them. And not for no reason at all. Not blind.
Maharaj, normally you're saying three things that we should follow in regard to this. Can I say?
I think in regard to a sat guru, Maharaj has said there's three things that he personally finds is most helpful. Is one, humility, two, knowledgeable and learned about the scripture, and three, most important, how genuinely and sincerely they're following their own guru. Because if you have some guru and they're not very sincerely and expressively following their own guru, then they're bogus, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're you can see how they're following their guru, and you can see that parampara to some extent, then that's some qualification that's pretty obvious.
Well, the worst thing is not to have faith in your guru. Then you don't have guru. And that's unfortunate. Those who had faith and then lose it. And they think it is the guru's fault. May not be. They find guru, it may not be guru that the fault lies. We have some strong desire within us to go in some direction. And we find guru is not fulfilling that. Then we find fault. That's also not good. And you have to be careful of association. The worst thing that deviates us most seriously is bad association. They can fill our hearts with so many things. Faithless, turn us into faithless beings, faithless souls. Many reasons why one might lose faith. What to do? Maya, we live in the kingdom of Maya. It's very strong domain of Maya. And for many lifetimes, we're conditioned by that. So to try to get out is very difficult. And if you come in touch with some genuine soul and you somehow are deviated from that because of connection with Maya, then it happens. It happens. And the path of Krishna consciousness is not easy. Very difficult path. So much humility, so much tolerance, so much patience, so much faith is required. Giving honor to others, not expecting honor. Anyhow. You know that story, Prabhupada used to tell that story of the women in the World War II, the mothers would send their sons to war and they'd go to church and they'd be praying that, dear Lord, please bring my son back. My husband, my son, whatever, please bring my husband or son back. And every Sunday, whatever, they would go, or Saturday, whenever it was, they went to church. They would go, even some were going every day, praying and praying. When the news came, their loved one had been killed, they stopped going to church. God doesn't listen to me. Why I should go there? And they intent of serving God is for themselves. They're honoring themselves, their own mind. They want to get the results, not sincere.
But even that happened to the devotees too. I saw My brother is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, and his ex-wife. I remember she's living in Brazil now with my niece, but I remember um, I talked to her a few years ago, and she doesn't want to know anything about devotees anymore because the first son, they were living in the with the devotees in Spain in the farm, and the elder son drowned in the river. He died when he was like 6 years old, and after that he got another problems, and then divorced from my brother, and they have another children. But they say, I don't know how many things happened to me in my life. I don't. He doesn't want to know about Krishna or anything like that. So I see, like many times I see devotees that they have some tests, they have some troubles, and there is a moment that they lost the connection. They don't want to be connected with the devotees of Krishna anymore. I see many people like that,
Yeah.
and I see that happen. I mean, when we try to advance in the Krishna consciousness, we already have a test that will come one way or another. Sometimes the tests come in different ways, and some people they lose the faith completely. I see that that person is eating meat and all that. He doesn't know. I try to talk about Krishna with her, and she said, "No, I don't want to know anything about that anymore." So she just quit. I think probably she make an advancement because he was living in a temple, but the thing is like it's difficult to pass those tests. Sometimes it's not easy.
Hmm.
People lose the faith, and maybe whatever advance they have, they will never lose. They will continue next life. But I see people like that. Like I just saying the example that the Prabhupada said in the World War II that people go to the church and then when the family dies, say, that's it. I don't want to go to church anymore because I don't get the results I wanted. But Krishna consciousness sometimes can problems, and we have to see that it's our fault. It's no, don't blame anybody over that. That is a
Well,
difficult thing to recognize that for some reason I deserve that, the situation.
that's called fruitive activity. When we do something for some result, that's called karma or
Yeah.
fruitive activity. And we have to give that up. That devotee has to be very renounced in that sense. Renunciation is very important in the sense of renouncing that material mentality, that wanting the result of our activities, the fruits of our activities. That really has to be rejected. Uh, and if that's there in our heart, how we can come to the higher platform of bhakti. Bhakti requires the elimination of that. That's why we're reading in this book. There's so many things, even your teachers, your parents, whatever it may be. If they're not understanding the real purpose of life, then they become an hindrance to our spiritual life. Huh? They become enablers of our uh, s- uh, subjugation to death, because this Mityalok. So it is very hard, no doubt. And the thing is, even when living with devotees, if we don't have that inner connection with Krishna and Guru, and only relying on external circumstances, that won't help us. It has to be also inward and outward. The inward and outward have to match. They can't just be putting on a show. Huh? We have to understand within our heart what we are doing. And then the test, so-called tests, that's what is being tested. Is it inner or is it outer? Huh? And if it's only outer, certainly we'll fail the test. The real test is the inner connection, and Krishna knows how to test that. Huh? And he reveals it to us too. If we are sincere, and we will find our outer connection is leading us into less Krishna consciousness. If we're sincere, then we will stop that. We know how to stop that. And Krishna will make another arrangement for us. Just like I think when we came to Sridhar Maharaj from ISKCON, that was a great test. A great test for those who made that change. Uh, They had an inner sense of looking for that inner sense of connection, not only the outer uh, situation. That wasn't their only consideration. They had some kind of inner consideration. And were able to make that transfer. And even then, and under Sridhar Maharaj, so many things have changed. From Sridhar Maharaj to Govinda Maharaj to Acharya Maharaj. Situation is always changing. Mm. But the inner connection has to be strong. Not so much what others are doing, it's what you do. Right? And then when you recognize that also, you don't become diverted. Your life is not dependent on their behavior. Your behavior is being uh, examined. And if your behavior is true and genuine, then Krishna arranges everything outwardly and arranges the environment for his devotee. He's looking to protect his devotee, not to uh, make it. He wants to protect his devotee. He wants to serve his devotee. But it has to be genuine, that's all. And as we progress in our own advancement in Krishna consciousness, that becomes known to us, becomes obvious to us, that we are the authors of our environment. Uh, don't think the environment is there without your contribution to it. Yeah. All right? Don't think that. That's a big mistake. A lot of persons may make. You have to be responsible for yourself and your environment and the situation you find yourself in. Not completely, but there's some component of yourself participation. You have some participation in that. Man proposes, God disposes. There's a good way to see it. Ye yatamam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamyaham. Krishna says himself, according to your surrender, I will provide the result. Kind of wisdom, that kind of understanding, that kind of knowledge will come to the sincere souls. And then anything can happen to them. And they'll never be deviated. Maybe even they're deviated, they think, Krishna, all right, you're arranging this. Let me see what you want from this. But I'm not going to forget you. It's possible, right?
Yes, it is.
Don't blame the environment so much. Okay, shall we stop here? Deep, getting too deep for me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I'm starting to drown. Anyhow, thank you very much, Prabhus. Any parting words?
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Dandavad.
Dhanyavad, Prabhu.
Dhanyavad.
Dandavad.
धन्यवाद।
Samaveda Bhaktivedanta ki
जय
jai.
भक्ति माधापुरी महाराज की जय।
Jai.
भक्ति माधापुरी महाराज की जय।
Jai.